Hello. So, here am I once again at Squire's, having a chat to you, because as it's Sunday, this is when I tend to go for my motorbike rides, and when I can think about things that I can chat to you about, hopefully will give you pause for thought, and then maybe you can utilize what I'm saying, either directly or indirectly. That's entirely your call. So, one of the things that I'm trying to do is to become more natural in front of the camera. I have all these thoughts that, I'll be honest with you, once I'm riding the motorbike, are, I think, very profound. They're deep-seated, witty, intelligent, etc., etc. And yet, when I come to start in front of this oblong device, which I am talking to you on, my brain just seems to go, and it's not that I don't have anything to say, it's about trying to make sure that those words come out in a coherent stream, rather than just a stream of consciousness, which, if you know, I can do quite well. And that then got me thinking that there's a guy on the social media channels, I can't remember his name, he's a PT, I think, he's English, and he said something which I found quite fascinating. He was talking about how he had looked at some of his old videos from, say, 7 or 8 years ago. Now, this guy has a very large following. I believe he's able to, at the minute, create an income from his social media feeds, but he basically said he was looking back and cringing at what he'd put up on social media. And I thought, well, that's fascinating, because if I think about how I was as a chiropractor, or even as a student, I'm amazed I got anybody better. When I was at the AECC, over the year we had to do 40 new patients and 400 treatments as a minimum before we would be considered able to graduate. So you could even pass all your tests, you could pass your clinic entrance and clinic exit, and still, if you hadn't got the 40 and 400, you wouldn't graduate, or at least you'd have to hold fire for a few more weeks. Now, and given the fact that I probably do that in a 2-week period, not new patients, because I'm able to actually retain quite a lot of them, which is nice. Not all of them, because as we know, not everything is for everybody, but I'm able to retain quite a lot of them. What it means is that I've got considerably better at all my skills, but you can't get better without being inept at something. So when this guy was saying, I look back on the videos I used to do with cringe, I thought, well, how do you improve? You should be looking back on them, not in cringing, but going, that was who I was then. And from then, I got onto a thought process that was sort of triggered by something that Alan Watts said. Now, for those of you that know me personally, know that I enjoy, although I sort of oscillate between various different religious camps, I think a lot of them follow the same tenet of being nice to each other and party on, dude. Some are less nice, but we can go into that in another detail. But the point is that if I really had any particular religion to follow, it'd be sort of a Buddhist type kind of religion type thing. And one of the things that Alan Watts says is that death implies life, north implies south, east implies west, young implies old, that you cannot have one thing without describing it in relation to something else. Now, if you're still watching this and you are a chiropractic student, and by that I actually mean that you're still following the chiropractic journey, then of course you're going to get better. You're going to hopefully improve every single day, because if you're still doing the same thing that you were doing when you graduated, then actually you've not actually graduated with 5 years experience, 10 years experience, 15 years experience. You've just graduated 10 years ago with 1 year's experience 10 times. This is something I know I've spoken about before. So when you are looking at what you're doing, are you looking back and going, well, that was how I used to be, but this is how I am now? Or are you looking back and going, oh, it's a bit cringe, I wasn't very good when I started? No, I wasn't very good when I started. Like I said, if you think I had to do 400 treatments in a year, and I do that generally every 2.5 to 3 weeks, then I've got to be getting at least more efficient at it. Hopefully, because I'm retaining more of my new patients when I get them, my skill at retaining and explaining what's happening has improved. But I cannot say, look at where I am now, without saying where I am now is a result of where I was. I am who I am, where I am, how I am, because of who I was, where I was, when I was. So I think don't stop striving to improve yourself, but also don't be too embarrassed that you aren't the same person you used to be. When I was a child, I did childish things, as Shakespeare said. So whatever it is that you are doing, strive to be better at it, strive to improve yourself, but don't be embarrassed about being a bit bad at first, but at least know that you can improve. All right, well, I've tried to retain some semblance of professionalism by talking to the camera, and I hope that you appreciate what I'm doing. I also hope you appreciate all the lovely motorbike noises. So I'm love you and leave you, and the bimble on home and have me tea. Have a good Sunday. Laters.